NASA, one of the topmost research center. Can anybody think that NASA can also have this type of bad history in their past? Today, I'm going to tell you about this. A worst history from the past of NASA, which is, you can say, depth or burden or buried under the ground, which came out after so many years by the person who was in this project. Margaret Lovett, a woman who has always loved animals since she was a kid, confessed to having an unusual relationship with a dolphin. She recalls her mom giving her a book about a talking cat when she was little, which sparked her lifelong interest in animal communication. It was a story about a cat who could talk and understand humans. It just stuck with me that maybe there is this possibility. Margaret shared, unlike most kids, Margaret outgrew her dream of communicating with animals. Her dream came true in 1963 during Christmas. On Caribbean island of St. Thomas, Margaret mother-in-law told her about a secret lab on island where they were working with dolphins. At just 20 years old, Margaret could not resist checking it out. There she met Gregory Baxter, the lab director, who was impressed by her passion and determination to help. The gentleman allowed Margaret to study the dolphins and record her observation. Despite lacking formal scientific education, Margaret's knack for spotting animal behavior secured her spot in the research project. She still clearly recalls her first impression of the three dolphins she observed. In her words, Peter, Pamela, and Cece. Cece was the biggest, who she loved. She sort of ran the show, and Pamela was very shy and fearful. And Peter was a young guy. He was sexually coming of age and a bit of naughty. Margaret admitted to having a relationship with Peter, but she said it wasn't a sexual on her hand. When Margaret first made this trio, they were living in a sea pool under a lab, affording ample opportunity for daily observation. The project was bankrolled by NASA and hoped to teach dolphins English or understand if that was even possible. But the scientists craved a more intimate look at their subject and decided on a peculiar plan. They would retrofit an average house into a dolphin dwelling by flooding it with knee-deep water. This meant the team could live under the same roof as the animals and monitor them around the clock. Margaret's bond with the stately sea creature intensified the more time she spent among them. In particular with the young male Peter, Margaret confided, "Peter liked to be with me. He would rub himself on my knee, my foot, or my hand, and I allowed that." Margaret shared, "I wasn't comfortable as long it was too rough. In the beginning, I put him on the elevator and say, 'You go play with the girls for a day.'" Margaret and Peter along with other team members. Margaret was on a mission to teach Peter English and test its cognitive abilities. It was just easier to cooperate that and let it happen. It was very precious, very gentle. Peter was right. She said this became the part of her study to teach Peter. It was sexual on his part. It was not sexual on mine. It would just become the part was going. Just get ready that we will scratch. We will do move on. When they ran out of money, Peter had to move 1,000 miles away to a lab in Florida. Sadly, Peter passed away soon after, which some say was because he Margaret so much. After this story, I just want to tell you about this. That this is a secret project of NASA, which was set by herself, Margaret, in an interview after so many years. And when the authority turned down and said that they were not going to pay for this, then they had to leave this project. And as a result, Peter suffered. The suffering was so bad after getting away from the Margaret that he died. Not died, that he committed suicide. He swam to that depth of the sea where no animal could take any breath. This is the exact truth behind the story.